Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Line Change, the NHL betting podcast from the Action Network. My name is Michael Leboff. I am the hockey editor here at Action Network, and joining me, as always, is my friend and professional bettor. You know him on gambling Twitter as So Money Sports. So Money, I don't think the Colorado Avalanche were rusty.
No, they weren't. That was they the way that started that game. I thought we'd have a similar result to the Rangers Tampa Bay game one there. Colorado looked great starting that game. I mean, you got to give credit to Tampa Bay there for fighting back, getting back into the game in the game that Colorado clearly carried the play. So I do give Tampa Bay a lot of credit there, but I think in the end the better team won.
Yeah, the better team did win. The closing line for game one, Colorado minus 141. Tampa Bay plus 127. The game went over the total of 6. For game 2, we're looking right now at Colorado minus 150, Tampa Bay plus 130, the over under at 6. The series price minus 320 for the Avalanche at 1-0. The Bolts plus 260. There is 2 days off, or there are 2 days off coming up, which I know everyone's sick of hearing about it, but I do think that benefits Tampa Bay once again, because, okay, Colorado showed that there was no rust in their game coming off the 9-10 day layoff between rounds. But now they have 2 more days off and then they play again. So they did look like they were getting in rhythm, but now you have to deal with a break that's not conducive to what they'd want, which is let's play every other game or every other day. So just looking at the lines right now, expecting Colorado money to probably show up based off their game one performance. And now that the rest narrative is gone, I do think that Colorado will take the money and Tampa Bay will be bettable. Between the two of them right now, the minus 150 plus 130, I would lean towards Tampa Bay. I actually would, if you're going to play them, I would actually play the series line. This team has shown time and again that losing game one is not a big deal. And if they can earn a split, if you think they can earn a split, then you're talking about pretty much a toss-up as they go back home with home ice advantage in the series. So that's what I'll be looking at. I think the stage has kind of been set for me in the series, which is I'm likely going to be on the Lightning for the most part. What are you seeing?
Well, firstly, you mentioned the 2 days off, so in the Stanley Cup final, so that really bugs me because I haven't talked about the Canucks for a while, right? So I will maintain until the day I go to my grave that the 2 days between game 6 and 7 in 1994 is the reason why the Canucks lost game 7. If they don't have that 2-day break, the Canucks would win game 7. With the 2-day breaks,
Kirk McLean was in good form. I mean, you're right.
Yeah, so
I'll give you that.
So that really bugs me. I don't even know why we have 2 days off here. We just waited 2 weeks for the series to start, and now they're gonna throw another 2 days. But yeah, so I think that the side is fair. I think that they've made the proper adjustments from game 1 and 2. We know that Tampa Bay is gonna adjust their game, right? So we've talked about this at length about Tampa Bay all throughout the season into the playoffs. They'll feel you out game 1. So I think the problem that we saw with Tampa Bay today was that they really struggled with Colorado's speed. It wasn't and it wasn't only the speed, it was that Tampa Bay was very sloppy in their breakouts. They like we saw in that overtime goal, it was a neutral zone turnover that went back the other way. So those are the kind of things that that Tampa Bay is they're gonna clean that up. So I don't have any doubt about that. We saw Vasilevsky again, kind of slow starting game 1. He found his form with Kemper. This was a Kemper game. Like we should be expecting 2 to 3 goals from him a game. Like that's just what he is, and that's enough for Colorado to get the win, because that's average to above average for him. So we know what we're going to get from him. I expect Vasilevsky to be better. I expect Tampa Bay to clean up defensively. We know that Colorado is able to play a defensive game. We've talked about this as well, the different styles that they played throughout the playoffs. So I do expect me to be coming in on the under here. So the number's good right now. We're at a flat 6. I think that as long as we can get an under at a flat 6, that's the way that I'd be looking at this game.
Yeah, I think your points about Vasilevsky is part of the reason I am pretty confident that I will be back on Tampa Bay. Is he had a really rough first 8 minutes of that game. Couple goals squeaked by him that he normally doesn't give up.
Yeah.
And even before that, his goalie touches were a little off, right? Like he had one that kind of clipped him like really deep on his shoulder. That if he wasn't kind of like in a weird posture, it would have went in. I think it was Darren Helm too, so it wasn't like a great shot. He got beat and puck at a post off a weird angle before Colorado started scoring as well. So he clearly wasn't. He didn't show up for the first 8 minutes of the game or so, and then he did. Like that after that third goal that got by him, he actually showed some emotion after a goal, which you don't really see. He kind of just clamped down and he looked really good. He was incredibly proactive. A lot of poke checks, really good movement in his crease. So he looks like whereas it took basically a game and a half for him to snap into form against the Rangers, it took about 8 minutes for him to do it against the Avalanche. I was on Vasilevsky to pitch a shutout in game 1. It's 16-1. I'm probably going to do it again for game 2. That's not a bet you should expect to win, but I just think he's probably got a crazy performance in his locker in the series, and you're going to give me 16-1 on the best goalie in the world to pitch a shutout. I'll probably take it. So with you seeing an under type game, I think that benefits or provides value on the Lightning, especially as also Brandon Point starts to work his game back, and he was good. I thought for Tampa Bay, considering his long layoff. So I just think I'll be back on Tampa Bay. It'll be more pain, maybe another overtime loser, but it's just they've do something that's really hard to quantify, and they did it in this game. They did it in the Rangers series overall. They did it in the Leafs series, which is they just don't go away. Like they don't go away. They don't play themselves out of games, and when they do, it's very rare that they do, I should say, right? And when they do have those games where they aren't at their best, the next time they step on the ice, they are. Like it's an innate skill. And I know people will bring up the 17 wins in a row after a loss before the Rangers beat them 2 in a row last series. So now it's 17-1. But I think that does actually speak to the type of team that this is, which is they just nothing will phase them. And I think that the foundation is there for them to pull off the mini upset in game 2.
Yeah, and that's also a testament to the way that they can make adjustments game to game, right? Like, and same thing with Colorado. These two teams are they're outstanding at making adjustments. So beyond the games itself, I'm really looking forward to watching Tampa Bay, kind of the different things they can do to like neutralize Colorado's speed, clean up their own defensive zone, and then back in game 3, I'm interested to see how Colorado can try to counter that as well. So I think that the series, the game to game adjustments that we'll see is going to be fascinating.
And one more quick point before we get out of here is I think a lot of people were saying that Tampa looks slow. And I think that's right. Like Colorado was buzzing from the moment the game started, and they are an incredibly quick team from the back to the front. But I think we saw that in game 1 and game 2 against the Rangers too, who aren't
Toronto as well.
Yeah, Toronto, right? Like how often did we say in the beginning of that Rangers series and after the first 2 games of that Rangers series and in the first game of the Toronto series, Tampa looks slow, which is not something you would expect to see out of them. But then all of a sudden they then bring the game to that speed. So they're going to do everything that they can to do that, right? To bring the game towards their speed. And I just try, like they've earned the benefit of the doubt that they should be able to do it. And John Cooper's earned the benefit of the doubt to make those adjustments. So yeah, it'll be Tampa for me, probably game line, series line. And then once again, the Vasilevsky shutout bet, which will pretty low. It'll lose 30 seconds in when Nathan McKinnon goes end to end on him. And then for you, it's just looking like the under.
Yeah, it looks like the under for me.
Awesome. So that will wrap up this episode of Line Change. We wish you all the best of luck with your bets